Now that I got these pieces roughed out, I can go on to the shaping process. And for the body, it's a little big to hold on to, but I got just enough, I think, to grab onto it. Just gonna use a knife, I think, for... I put these lines down the middle of each plane so that I have a reference. I'm gonna leave those lines and then just round over these corners. Actually, I'm finding that if I just keep this vise open a little bit and then hold it with the other hand, I can take a gouge and help to round over this. It's a little bit easier than holding that knife. It's just big enough where it's problematic that way. As you can see, I got to be careful here as I've got the grain running this direction, and when I was going in here, I started noticing that if I kept going, I was going to go cut into that. So I've got to come back this way now and clean those up. This gets pretty thin here, so I don't want to go that way too much. That'll break right off. So in looking at the top view of the bird, this is what I've got so far. So I've got this little indentation down here, and the overall shape is pretty good. The head kind of turns off to the right, so I've got to power in a little bit here and take off a little bit there. But otherwise, it's pretty close. Maybe get this a little bit more squared off there. But it's getting there. If I look at the other view of it, obviously I haven't done anything with the beak yet, but the body maybe looks a little fat here. Probably need to cut that down a little bit. Back looks good. I got to cut this a little bit. Looks like it's a fat osprey right now. I'm going to skinny it up a little bit. All right, so working on this beak. It's pretty fragile because I've got end grain running through it in this direction, and so it's pretty weak. I gotta go take it really slow, taking just a few small cuts and then checking it. So I've got the beak pretty much where I want it. A little more work left to do on it, but it's pretty close. So I'm going to put in the eyes now. I think I've got them drawn where I want them. right, so what I've done here, because I was having a hard time getting this clamped in right, I just put a piece of scrap in the vise, and then I drilled 2 holes. This is where the tenon is anyway for the wing, so I'm not going to see those holes. Screwed them in, not super tight, just wanted to have them in there. And then put another board here so that when I'm pushing on this way, it's got some support here. It doesn't move too much. All I'm trying to do here is to hollow out the middle part here, and then I'm going to thin the edges. It'll still be fairly thick, but it'll give the illusion of being thin like feathers or wings. Should probably put something here too when I'm doing that. I found on the other side that when I was using the V-gouge going cross grain, I was getting some tear out. So to prevent that, what I did was took a knife and scored a line to sever those fibers, and that worked pretty well. So I'm going to do that on this back side as well. I've got both wings roughed out, and I've got the start of my tenons. So I need to thin these up, and then I need to do the mortises on the bird. Trying to figure out where these wings need to belong. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but I do have the pattern. I've been looking at pictures, and I'm going to make my best guess. Looks like right about here. I think they're going to have the wings kind of going up like that, about that kind of an angle. Try to anyway. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to do how do I do this and then mark it at the same time? Oh, there we go. Hold it up here. So this is what I have so far, but after looking at some images, I realized that I've got this wing is too far forward in the body. So I need to cut this back a little bit more. And then I'm going to put a dowel. I'll fit a dowel in the front part of this. I think that distance back will be enough for what I need. Actually, I was just thinking about this. I don't need to cut any more here. I'll just cut the tenon short a little bit. Cut off this much of the tenon, and then it should be fine. And I carved the other wing off camera. That one fits a little better because I did, put it in the right spot. I gotta put a shim in here or something. This one's pretty loose, so I don't want just to rely on the epoxy. I want there to be kind of a mechanical holding in there, but I think that it came out pretty good. It looks pretty symmetrical. The bird's head does go at a little bit of an angle, so that's okay. But I think according to the back, it looks pretty symmetrical there. So I'm happy with that. Now I need to do the tail. So this is what I have so far. These are just dry fit in here, so I'm trying to be careful so I don't drop them. But I like the way it's all looking so far. Of course, I've got to do the legs yet. I've got to sand all this before I put these in permanently. And then I got to create the talons. But I really like where it's at so far. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. Mortise, a tenon. Yeah, these are tenons. Do the mortise. Leaf blowers are the most annoying things in the world. Maybe not the most. They're in the top 10.